What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, May 28th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm coming off an atrocious showing yesterday. Extremely aggravating, atrocious, abysmal. This week has been awful, but our little man, Briggsy Randall, is in recovery after the successful surgery yesterday. So Briggsy is fighting through this and leading by example. What a man. This little man is 3 years old, and he's handling incredibly tough stuff so unbelievably well. And Briggsy, Matt Randall's son, star of the Taint play of the day. Briggsy is in recovery, and hopefully they will be home soon after the surgery at Children's Hospital yesterday. And Mr. Gogster coming off a 5-0 day plus 5.51 units. So, yes, I have been awful all week long and costing a lot of money. But there are positives. So I'm just going to think about Big Briggsy and not about my atrocious record, and I'm excited to get to work. I made a terrible decision to try and save my night with the Texas Rangers double up at the end of the night. Fucking ridiculous. Awful. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. We got Mr. Gogster in the house, fresh off a 5-0, 5.51 unit showing. Stick around for our NHL segments, man, because Mr. Gogster's eating. There's my guy, Nuke Worker. It is snow. It's freezing cold outside here in Toronto, and there's a lot of weather issues on today's MLB card that we've got to talk all about. There's K-Paul VIP in the house. Viper NB. This MLB has been shaky lately. Yeah, it's a kind way of putting it. There's Danny A. Willie Vegas. Slats 45. Shout out to Gokes. 5-0 NHL. Habs leaves back in Montreal Saturday with fans for the first time. And tonight he's on the Wild plus 160. And Jay's first 5 minus a half with Ryu at minus 110. Yeah, I absolutely get it. I almost bet it myself, but I was a little concerned about the effects of the double dip yesterday and the emotion playing in Yankee Stadium and then going, to Cleveland. But it still very much may end up on my card. There is Mr. Gogster. Danny A. in the house. People over 9.5 Ks was a nice early afternoon hit. Yes. Our man, the producer of this show, my son, Jose, with his Say Hey play today, back-to-back winners. He wins today. He comes into our first show on Tuesday morning, plus units. Also, another way of getting excited and feeling okay about just waking up in the morning in my life is it's Belmont. We're 8 days away from the Belmont Stakes, and what a race it's going to be. Essential Quality going to come in as a favorite. Then you have Rombauer after winning the Preakness. Then you have 2 horses that we don't know what to do with and no an agenda. Well, I guess the horse we don't know what to do with really is Rocky World. But Hot Rod Charlie, you have to like a lot of what you've seen from Hot Rod Charlie. And as you know, even though the Belmont's a mile and a half, it's not horses that come from the back. It's horses that are within 4 lengths of the lead. But what an exciting race and a good chance, good opportunity to make cash. And we will be going live all day Saturday. We're 8 days away from going live all day. There's my guy Nilo in the house. Chris Brady ready to get to work. North Ender. Nilo just hit over goals on Portuguese under 9 soccer this morning at 6 a.m. Attaboy. There's David Sharp ready to get to work. It says, great to hear about Lil Randall. Yeah, Briggsy, all is good. Nuclear say Manoa Mania here in Blue Jay Land. Yeah, it's just so irritating that I just thinking myself into a losing bet because on that Wednesday, when Manoa was supposed to pitch, I'm on the under 5.5, which went bet down to 5. And then, of course, you lose the bet because of the date switch. Not lose the bet, but you don't, the bet's voided. And then Thursday, I end up talking myself into the Yankees. God. Extremely upsetting, but it's okay because it is Friday. and we are going to get to work. The Czar laughing at Trotwam for the Heat pick. Hey, he cashed the over in the Blazers game, and it wasn't all bad. A lot of people fell for the Heat. Nuclear saying that great news about Briggsy. North Ender 1-1 soccer plays 5-1 in NHL, 9-2 in NBA last night. North Ender. God, I like that. And it is snowing here in Belleville for Mr. Gogster. God, there's Bama Boy in the house. WTF says Costa Rica says hello. God, it'd be nice to be in Costa Rica right now. Nilo says the first plus for you, Jimmy, is lack of pigeons with all this wind, rain, and hail. They must be elsewhere. No, I've been battling pigeons off my balcony all morning, man. Finally, they found a little. Oh God, what's the right term for it? I came very close saying fuck hut. They found a little enclosed area for them to possibly raise a family. So I've been trying to get them out of there. God, just awful. Oh, Max on record. Yeah, it's just so frustrating. I came into this week up units. I'm just getting killed. Danny A says, get the man his stickers. I love it. There's Razor Sharp picks in the house. Man, Razor, next week, a huge week. A huge week. So Razor's horse racing show on Wednesday and Thursday nights. And then Saturday, all day Belmont glory. There he is. Don't tell. What a he always puts a smile on my face. In it. What a good guy. All right. Luke Murphy says Blazers killed me last night. Yeah, they hurt a lot of people. And it is time to get to work. Jerry Beatty, DC, Ron Lofton, JT. A great group. Eric Chang, JB, Nicey, Spenny Penny Bombs. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But 5-1 for Luke Murphy last night. Great job. And Truth won all his unders. I hope there's more unders today because that's all I've got. Bama Boy 2-0 last night. North Ender says was tempted by some MLB, but glad I didn't. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, Tony, very, very kind. Our guy, Tony Brucher, a firefighter. First responder, Tony Brucher, we have so much love for you. Thank you, my friend. And Mr. Ghost says Toronto Pigeons are no joke. Yeah, they just want to bang. Jimmy, curfew over in Quebec restaurants opening, fans, Habs game, Briggsy recovering, life is good. You're absolutely right. Let me get away from how angry I am about yesterday. Spenny Penny Bombs, Game 7, Montreal and over 5.5 parlay. That can't be Montreal, because Montreal is like plus 160 and the over 5.5, you get a huge one. So hit me with that again, spending off the top. First period over 1.5 and plus 105. Chandler Stevenson over a half assist at plus 155. Matt Zuccarello over a half assist at plus 205. Spurgeon over half assist plus 225. And William Karlsson over a half assist at plus 150. Very interesting. Oh, that was Vegas money line. Vegas money line over 5.5 parlay. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. Mike Macklem saying Saratoga opening at near full capacity in July. Tickets on sale next month. Yeah, I was on the NYRA website today just planning things out because, we're going to have to go live for a few of those days, especially Traverse Stakes Day. But there's some other days that are just monstrous. I kind of want to go live for the very first Saturday, even though it's not a huge stakes race card. JT, thank you so much. Very, very, very kind. And there's Maxwell Smart. The Cup Kings were kind when it came to Fraser and Bryant. Do we have more? Let me just see if our guy, let me know. Jude, did you put out another one today, Maxie? If he did, I should support it. Because Max is trying to help us eat. Sorry, let me just move here. Get this going. And then let's get to work. We have a ton of work to do today. We have Mr. Gogster joining us after a superlative day. 5-0, Mr. Gogster went. But the most important news for all of us here at Betting with the Bag is that Briggsy, Matt Randall's son, in recovery, successful surgery, and hopefully we'll be back very, very soon. Let's see, am I missing anything from CBMS 420? Okay, not yet. Not yet. Not yet, but soon. Soon. Okay. Let's get to work right now. And let's get fucking going, man. All right. Danny A says, I hate this weekend off. Yeah, it looks like no we probably should have gone with the horses today, but you want to build everything up for Belmont. We could be going every Saturday is what we could be doing. All right, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. And there is Diehard MMA podcast in the house. Cincinnati Reds, 22-26, 11-13 on the road at the Chicago Cubs, 27-22, 16-9 at home. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. And as I said, weather is affecting games all across the nation. So I don't know what games are going to be canceled. You guys can let me know. There's Cap a lot Pops. There's Frankie Tubbs. All right. 51 Fahrenheit at Wrigley. Light rain, 21 mile per hour wind in. So what do we do with the totals in this spot? First off, a huge move to the Cubs. A 40-cent move to the Cubs from minus 136 to minus 176 at Pinnacle. They're as high as minus 195 at some books. Huge move. And from a total perspective, we are dealing with 6.5 opening at minus 112 and money coming in on the over. Money coming in on the over. It's now at plus 101 to the under 6.5. And the first half total first five opened up at 3 and is now at 3.5. And we know what it's like when it's real windy in Wrigley Field. It's very hard. You have to manufacture all your runs. So I couldn't move on it because I don't know exactly what we're going to get from Vladimir Gutierrez making his MLB debut in AAA Louisville. 2-0, 2.65 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, 17 innings, 21 Ks, 7 walks, 3 home runs. He's a 25-year-old Cuban making his MLB debut. And I wonder if any of you guys have an idea of how you are playing this. Oh, yeah, Puzzler. That I lose my shit when people feed the pigeons. I lose my shit. Luke Murphy says probably no games being played in Chicago today. Oh, and look at that, Slaughter. Even though Jeff Slaughter knows, even though Jose's got back-to-back wins due to his poor opening record, he will be getting paid in pesos this week. So I hate to let you know that, Jose. It's a tough way to learn. Tough way to learn. Nilo says Reds are 0-5 in their last 5 versus a team with a winning record. Viper says the total's gone under in 4 of Cincinnati's last 5 games. Maxwell Smart's on the over 4.5 Ks for Vladimir Gutierrez. And Dan Kelly says pigeon sauteed with a little butter, white wine, and lemon. Delish. That reminds me of one of my greatest friends of my life, Erwin Barker, who died about, I guess, 11 years ago this June. He talked about rabbit. How delicious rabbit is. And if you can ever get your hands on a rabbit that's been a child's pet, the meat just falls off the bone. You can taste the trust. That is from the great Erwin Barker, known as the Professor. Okay, let's get back to Reds, Cubbies here. Reds versus righties, 255, 768 OPS. Cubs versus righties, 235, 714 OPS. Also, Reds bullpen terrible, 5.29 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, converted 9 of 16 save opportunities. Cubs bullpen, 2.87 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, converted 14 of 19 save opportunities. Marco Lou says, I saw this on YouTube. In the South, they eat squirrels. And Turnsy says, I've eaten 3 of my son's rabbits. Okay. Truth says, whenever someone says a team under past few days, I take the over. And it happened with the Royals this week. And Marco Lou says, please remember to remove the pellet from the squirrel before you begin cooking it. Good thoughts all around. Yeah, Truth. There's value in fading people. And if you were fading me all week, you'd be eating very well. So, you cap the cappers, and you can cap me personally. That's a huge asset, whether you tail or fade, as long as you're making money off of the person. And then also with guys in the chat. And Spenny says rabbit is delicious. Yeah, okay. All right, let's get back to work here. Adbert Alzolay on the bump on the other side. He's been very good this year, except when he gets hit, he gets taken yard. And I guess that's why there's a lot of faith in him in this spot. He's allowed 9 home runs in 44 innings, but his whip is just 0.86. So they're not getting the rinky-dink hits that you're going to need to get runs in this game. I like hearing that. Nuke worker. Thank you. So with all that being said, Reds, Cubbies, I think that move towards the Cubs makes a lot of sense. I think the whole idea for the Cubs against Vladimir Gutierrez will be to be very patient, make him have to beat you. And if they're patient, they get walks, they'll be able to get runs. And Alzolay, he gets hit with balls in the air, and it's 21-mile-per-hour wind coming in. And I wish I had figured that out earlier. Bizarre says, Alzolay on my fantasy team, I'll back Cubs and under. All right. So no move from me on the 220 spot. There's our guy TJ in the house. So there we go. Let's move on to the next game on the card. a lot of rabbit eaters. A lot of rabbit eaters in the house. All right. Okay. Brian Watson said, how much did the book make off the Leaf game? You're absolutely right. Okay. Jeff Solly says, my girlfriend gets hit with balls in the air all the time. Desar says, how's Matty Ice? Yes. Great news. Great news. Briggsy had successful surgery and is in recovery right now. So great news. Chris Brady says, leading Cubbies money line. Cubs just 5-9 is run line home favorite. I think this is a nice spot for them. And I wish I had come to that realization before a 40-cent move was on them. All right, let's move on to 6:35 p.m. Eastern. I have moved on this game. Colorado Rockies, Pittsburgh Pirates. I moved on the full game under 7.5. Full game under 7.5. And I could have got a better line. It says if I had have waited. Very frustrating. Let's see what it is right now in my book here. Sorry. Quickly. First 5. Make me even more angry. Oh, excuse me. I did full game. Why am I going first 5? Yes, I could have got a 5-cent better line if I had waited. I got minus 120. It's now minus 115. Viper says the total's gone under in 4 of Colorado's last 5 games. Colorado Rockies 19-32, 3-20 on the road. Pittsburgh Pirates 18-31, 8-14 at home. PNC Park, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is another game that could get rained out. A lot of these could get rained out. 60 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour in. John Gray, 4-0, 3.43 ERA, 1.18 whip, 57 2/3, 48 Ks, 22 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walk, 3 Ks, and a 4-3 win at home versus Arizona. I've been impressed with what I've seen from John Gray so far this year. He's pitching well. Going up against Mitch Keller, who has not been pitching well. 2-6, 7.41 ERA, 1.81 whip, 37 2/3, 40 Ks, 21 walks, 6 home runs. He's coming off a tough start against a very hot-hitting Atlanta Braves team. 5 innings, he allowed 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. This is going to be much easier for him. He's back at home. Rockies rating just 224, 656 OPS versus righties. Pirates rating just 232, 646 OPS versus righties. Rockies bullpen is abysmal. Gerald Jones on Knicks +4. Viper says Gray and Keller both trash pass for him. And CT Bay says Story left the game yesterday. Rockies will need him. Yes, Story out of the lineup is very, very helpful. TJ says Gray on the road, yuck, 6.32 ERA, 1.79 whip. Icebreaker says, Dan Kelly, if you're blind, dangerous orders a salad, say it's a good sign that you like to eat rabbit. Nilo says lots of injuries for the Pirates, too. K. Paul VIP, like in that Clips Mavs over. It's pretty interesting after they put up such high scores that it's only at 219.5. A lot of people betting the over. Talk Sports JT says, well, I'll be fading this game. So I moved on the under 7.5. It was originally to the over. So I just picked it at the absolute worst possible time. Obviously, I bet at the worst possible time. Gray and the Rockies open up at minus 119. They're now minus 115. These offenses are poor. And I know Gray's been bad on the road, but this just feels like a much easier spot for him. And that's my move. And I do not want to double up here. but I wouldn't be, dead set against it. Let's just see what this first 5 is. The first 5 opened at 4. It's now at 3.5. Yeah. So if I could have got the 4, it would have been a double up spot. I did not. Okay, we move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers at Washington Nationals. Brewers are 25-25, 13-11 on the road. Washington Nationals are 21-25, 13-12 at home. We're at Nationals Park in D.C. 67 Fahrenheit, rain, 8 miles per hour in. It's Brett Anderson versus John Lester. When I came to the realization that, it turns he says rabbit is an aphrodisiac. Interesting. Did not know that. A lot of rabbit talk in the show today. And we'll thank Erwin Barker for that. Brett Anderson, 2-3, 4.34 ERA, 1.38 whip, 29 innings, 17 Ks, 8 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 home runs allowed, both solo shots, 0 walks, 3 Ks, and a 4-3 win at Cincinnati. Maxwell Smart looking at that Wilmer Difo prop. North Ender said Jessica Rabbit was a hottie. Yes, yes, she was. I'm not aroused by cartoon. So, yeah, I guess, sort of. Maybe she was. I don't know. John Lester, 0-2, 5.33 ERA, 1.50 whip, 25 in the third, 18 Ks, 10 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, 4 innings, 5 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 home run, 3 walk, 4 Ks in a 12-9 win at home versus the Orioles. So both pitchers have been bad, but the total was opened at 9.5, and that's just, I think, too high. At 66 Fahrenheit with the 8 mile per hour in and shitty weather, I think this total is just too high. When I came to that realization, it already moved from 9.5 to 9. Bama Boy says, like to fade Lester, but weather will keep me off this one. For me, the difference is the Nationals still against lefties, hitting 272 with a 770 OPS. Makes me want to back the Nationals. And I did. I took the Nationals first 5 minus 120. The Brewers are hitting 219, 689 OPS first lefties. Nilo says Nationals are 7-17 in the last 24 home games with a total set of 9 to 10.5. Interesting. David Sharp says I'm off this game, but Brewers back of the bullpen is taxed and out today. Hader and Williams have pitched in back-to-back days. And we have already a bullpen advantage with the Nats bullpen at 3.74 ERA, 1.23 whip, converted 8 of 11. So why don't we take a look at what's going on full game here on the money line. I got minus 120 on the first 5. And we've had no movement here. K-Paul VIP says Nats team total. No, I don't dislike Nats team total at all. But it's probably kind of high because this total opened at 9.5. Let's just see what it is very quickly here. Move over to Nats team total, 4.5 minus 110. That's a decent price, but I am going to move on the Nats full game. I'm going to add Nats full game to my card. David Sharp says it sounds like a full game to me. Gerald Jones says why Clippers favored in Dallas. The market is not going to make a quick, huge, drastic change. The market came into this series believing in the Clippers, and they'll slowly change. Now the Mavs are 2.5-point favorites. Or excuse me, the Clippers are 2.5-point favorites, but you'll see we're seeing that with the total in the Blazers game. They're not going to make a drastic change. They're just going to slowly creep that total up and up and up. All right. And Slot saying, if Leaf fans worried about Campbell, can't believe Nylander played only 17 minutes, easily the best player in the series. A lot of people out here are talking about Anderson being in net. CT Bay says feels like a full game over. I get it, CT Bays, but I don't want to go up against this market move. We talked a lot about the market yesterday, and Emily J. Blunt, username Emily J. Blunt, went 2-0 and is clearly a great capper. Said that we were probably focusing too much on the market moves, but it was that market move that got razor sharp picks on the Brewers because all the money was going against the Brewers, but the market was moving towards the Brewers. So he faded the public, went with the market move and backed the Brewers and won. Now, sure, it was a late inning win, but it was a win nonetheless. So let's take a look at this spot here right now. The full game over CT base for this Washington-Milwaukee spot. The under is taking the money and the tickets. 68% of the cash, 66% of the tickets, and it's gone down a full run from 9.5 to 9. Ron Loftus says, my wife is shaking her head with this eating rabbit stock. She feeds the cottontails daily in our yard. Yes, my fault, Ron. Please apologize to your wife for me. And I hope that your rabbits are looked after. And my fault. My fault to get us into a rabbit-eating frenzy. Okay. And what an incredible wife you have. That's why you guys have been together for so long. She's sitting beside you while you cap. You're a lucky man. David Sharp says, Jimmy, I've seen this happen a lot this year. Happened in Rangers-Astros game where Rangers won, but all money was on Astros. Might be auto-fade when we see this. Truth says, let's talk turtle. Okay. All right. Yeah, Truth, feel free, man. Feel free. Okay. Brian Watson says, Leafs go Anderson. Can't see why. Yeah, I wouldn't give up. Look, I'm waiting to see if the Boer doesn't start Fleury. That's why I'm not on the first period under right now. Okay, we move on to Braves Mets. My first edition is up here, and it's on the Nationals. My first edition is up. Braves 24 and 25, 11-11 on the road at New York. Mets 24 and 20, 14 and 5 at home. Speaking of all the different types of animals, as soon as the border opens up, I'll be at Green Dot Stables in Detroit, eating sliders, and they have sliders of all sorts of different animals. And on most shows, you would probably take a lot of heat for saying something like that, but there's a lot of, not a lot of vegetarian cappers. And those of you out there, respect. But yeah, you get crocodile, you get anything you want at Green Dot Stables in Detroit. Brian Watson says, could be a lot of rainouts. Jess Geeson's for Turtles. Czar says, no game here in Detroit. Jimmy, skip it. Really? They're going to cancel for sure? And Czar says, rain all day in Detroit, no game. Okay. Yes, Milwaukee does play in the dome, Jerry. Okay, we move on to 7:10 p.m. East. Well, I mean, it's a retractable roof, Milwaukee. And Chris Brady says, my daughter and I raised bunnies for years. Yeah, look, I apologize. I started this rabbit talk, and let's get back to it. City Fields in Queens, New York. We're going to briefly talk about all these games because there's so many of them. And I left money on the table thinking that White Sox Orioles game wasn't going to go yesterday. So let's just go to RotoWire. What are the games where they have the worst chance of going? I mean, we just talked about 3 of them. Oh, but that Brewers game's in Washington, Jerry. So next up we have Braves, Mets, 82% chance of rain. A lot of these games are going to be missed. Okay, let's go, though. We'll talk about it quickly. Ian Anderson, 4-1, 2.82 ERA, 1.20 whip, 51 innings, 53 Ks, 21 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, he looked very good at the Pirates, which is what I'm hoping will happen today for John Lester. Oh, no, it's not Lester. Sorry, at the Pirates. Who's at the Pirates? John Gray. Yeah, I saw that. Nilo. But we'll talk about these games briefly in case they do go. Because, again, I left money on the table not having the White Sox -1 yesterday, and it bothered me. Akbar says no looks on the over for the Cubs versus Reds game. No, I would never take an over with 21-mile-per-hour wind coming in. It's under or nothing. The Czar says Detroit rain out for sure. That sucks because I've doubled up on that game. And you're right, Dan Kelly. Vegan sports picks. Yeah. All right. Where are we here? Braves, Mets. Taiwan Walker, 3-1, 2.05 ERA, 0.98 whip, 44 innings, 41 Ks, 18 walks, 1 home run. His last start, he went 3 innings because of weather issues. 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 2 Ks. A 3-1 win at the Braves. Braves versus righties, 234, 756 OPS. Mets versus righties, just 225, 643 OPS. They're fashioning out wins somehow. Big Mike Macklem says big money coming in early on Nationals despite bet percentage on Milwaukee. Nationals should squeak out with Milwaukee bullpen. Yes, I need it. I need this double up here badly. So I hope that is what happens, Mikey. I hope that's what happens. Braves bullpen 4.49 ERA, 1.47 whip, converted 9 of 17, save opportunities. It's not like Anthopoulos to not be able to put together a bullpen when he has money to do it. So I expect this bullpen will improve as the season goes on. Mets bullpen 3.48 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, converted 13 of 19 save opportunities. And this was another spot where the total opened up very low and went up. So this total opened up at 6.5 and went up to 7. This first 5 total opened up at 3, I believe. Let's just double check that. Opened up at 3. It was juiced to the over, but it's now at 3.5. And with the movement towards the over and nice starting pitchers whom might, if the game goes and there's a rain delay, will be either out of their rhythm or pulled completely. There's no move for me on Braves Mets. Let's move on to Marlins at Red Sox. Marlins 24-26, 12-14 on the road at the Red Sox, 30-20, 14-13 at home. Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, 52 Fahrenheit, overcast, 8 miles per hour in. This game will be going for sure. Cody Poteet, 2-0, 1.06 ERA, 0.71 WHIP, 13 Ks, 2 walks, 1 home run. I took a good look at Cody Poteet, try to get a better idea of what this guy has because it's been a small sample size, and he's not a highly thought of prospect. CT Base says Walker might not be sharp off the IL, and that was why the 3-inning start. You're right, CT Base. That was a mistake by me there. And Cody, last start, he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 Ks, and a 5-1 win at home versus the Mets. Going up against Martin Perez, somebody I can't figure out. I really want to fade him every time he starts. And the Marlins are 231, 693 OPS versus lefties. They don't hit them well, and they're dealing with guys I need in. Prince of the City says rain, all baseball canceled. Marlins versus lefties, 231, 693 OPS. Red Sox versus righties, 254, 768 OPS. Marlins bullpen and Red Sox bullpen both being good. They're not closing out games efficiently, but they are pretty good. I mean, that's a tough thing to combine. 3.54 ERA, 1.12 WHIP for the Marlins, but they've only converted 10 and 22 save opportunities. Red Sox bullpen, 3.59 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, converted 14 and 21. Nuke Worker, much love. Nuke, I'll be on that first period under if Fleury is announced in. I'll be on that first period under 1.5 if Fleury is announced in. That's how I'm going to handle Game 7 of this huge Game 7. And I might even take first 10 minutes, no score, but I need to know who's in goal. And much love to you. Nuke Worker, coming to us live from Darlington Nuclear. Okay, so with all that being said, Red Sox smash righties. And I don't like this lineup that the Marlins are trotting out. It cost me a win yesterday. So let's just see what the market is here for this Boston spot. Boston opens up at minus 141. There's been a 24-cent move towards them, but this total's gone from 9 to 8.5. So it's mixed messages, and I'm off. All right, this is the Detroit Tigers spot where the Czars told us not to bother with and that it's going to be canceled for sure. Let's just go over to the weather report here in Detroit. I hope I didn't waste too much time on it because I'm also on it from this morning. So it stops raining at 5 o'clock in Detroit. It just stops raining, man. The latest weather says it stopped. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I think this game's going to go. Razor Sharp Picks has a Belmont pick 5 dropping in the chat. Thank you, Razor. Belmont pick 5. By the way, on Wednesday's show, we were very late hammering the horses. Very late. Started hammering the horses in Australia, which is never works for me, although there were some big hits had by the guys. Our guy Gavin Henry came on and gave us a pick 4 for a early pick 5 and a late pick 5 for Thistle, and that late pick 5 cashed at 500, about 900 to 1. The 50 cent paid 480 or something. Belmont pick 5, 3-4-5 all, 2-1 all for Razor Sharp Picks. So I doubled up on this under. First 5 under 3.5, full game under 7. I also beat the market move because at the time the over was getting bet pretty heavy, and now that's all moved to under action here. So in the morning, or Pinnacle yesterday when they dropped this, it was over. The over 7 was at minus 119. Now Pinnacle has the under 7 at minus 109. So, Jerry Beatty, that's easy. So in race 1, it's a pick 5. That's how you get the big scores. So you pick the winner of each race. In the first 5, he has 3 horses, the 3, 4, and the 5. In the second race, he has all the horses. In the third and fourth race, he has just 1 horse. And then the fifth race, all the horses. I mean, if he can get it's a very exciting way of doing things. Ron Lofton says, I get plus 120 to fade my D-backs. Easiest bet of the day. David Sharp says, these pitchers just squared off, lean over, and Yankees. I hear that. I think that, and it wasn't just squared off. Garrett Cole's last start was the White Sox, and Casey Mize' last start was Kansas City. This is different because it's 48 Fahrenheit, it's cold, and it's 19 mile per hour sideways winds out to right. That's really going to help the movement for both of these pitchers. So I think this is a different situation where both teams are still struggling against righties. And we know that Stanton's going to come back at some point. And this is not where you'd bring him back. You would not bring Stanton back in 48 Fahrenheit weather with 19 mile an hour winds. So Yankees are hitting 223, 691 OPS versus righties. Tigers are hitting 227, 671 OPS. Let's go to baseball data here. And here we go. By the way, in that Nationals spot, Nationals Brewers, the Brewers are hitting 286, 990 versus Brett Anderson. And against Leicester, they're hitting 325, but just a 784 OPS. So they're 39 for 120. But of those 39 hits, 32 are singles. So I kind of like the situation there. Here we go. Against Garrett Cole against these Tigers. They're hitting 130 with a 362 OPS. They are 10 for 77 with a homer. That's 1 home run from Robbie Grossman, 9 singles. That's it. And then I've got them I've never seen Casey Mize. Is that wrong? Sharpie, I've got them, have never seen Casey Mize. TJ says, I love the Yankees team total over against this horrible pen. Win slightly out. Yeah, sideways, out to right, slightly out. The Yankees aren't hitting. They just played a doubleheader yesterday. They're tired. And then they have to fly right after their doubleheader to Detroit. I think it's a tough spot to expect them to be electric offensively. And TJ said yesterday, he said Stanton back today. I remember that. But also 48 Fahrenheit, 19 mile per hour sideways winds, cold and windy. Is that where you want to bring him back? Maybe. So, and Desar says, I don't think he's back tonight with the rain. Scary game to bring a DL guy back. But I'm on the under. And that market move to him to the under might be because rumors came out that Stanton was not going to return back today. So I doubled up on this under. First 5 under 3.5, full game under 7. All good. Yeah, they have not seen Mize. That's what I thought. Thank you, David. I like the spot. I don't know, TJ. Look, I've been on a really bad run in MLB. So we move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 25 and 24, 50 and 13 on the road at Cleveland Indians 27 and 21, 11 and 9 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be breaking down NBA right after this. DC says 91% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Yanks. Yeah, I mean, with Garrett Cole on the mound, it's hard to. All right, here we go. 55 Fahrenheit, light rain, 20 mile per hour sideways in are the winds. And we have Hyunjin Ryu going up against Eli Morgan. Here's a very interesting spot here that we spoke about on Razor Sharp's horse racing show. One of the things I've always talked about with goaltenders is that if you see a goalie that's 5'11", 6 foot, even 6'1", make it to the NHL, he beat the odds. He was alarmingly good coming up in the minors when the scouts do not want a goalie of that height. They want a goalie at least 6'3". They want goalies to be between 6'4" and 6'6", even though we haven't seen very many superstar 6'6" goaltenders. So I've always thought that, and Gas Station Sushi was talking about that, and he was saying he feels the same way about pitchers. And I think it's a really nice angle. And here we have Eli Morgan who is making his MLB debut here for the Indians, who are a pitching factory, and they create the best pitchers in baseball. 5'10", 190 pounds is Eli Morgan. And here he is making his MLB debut at 25 years old, 8th round pick out of Gonzaga. In AAA Lynchburg, he started 3 games, 3.95 ERA, 1.54 WHIP, 13 2/3, 13 Ks, 8 walks, 3 home runs. He hasn't been great. There's my guy Robert Cherry in the house. And Desar says Mize could surprise if this game is played. I agree. Oh, there is Gas Station Sushi as we speak of it. There he is right there. So here, Gas, we have that perfect situation with this 5'10", 190-pound pitcher coming up from Lynchburg into Cleveland, making his debut. David Sharp, 30K prop of the day is up. 30K prop of the day. It's not up yet, but Ryu over 5.5 Ks. 5.5 Ks. So he's just waiting for that to be dropped, and then he will tweet that out. Champino in the house. Golden Knights, Cardinals, Clippers. Nice to see you, Champino. Nilo says, Jimmy, Jays 4-0 in the last 4 road games. Tribe 1-8 in the last 9 versus an AL East team. Interesting. So, Blue Jays versus righties, 253, 752 OPS. We see that number climbing, but is there going to be some residual tiredness from this Jays team after a very emotional double dip yesterday in the Bronx? Indians versus lefties, 215, 674 OPS. Blue Jays bullpen, 3.55 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, converted 10 of 16 save opportunities. They've been on a bad run. Indians bullpen, 2.69 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, converted 16 of 18 opportunities. They're very, very good. So first, let's see what Ryu does against these guys and then make some decisions. 189, 481 OPS, 7 for 37, 9 strikeouts in those 37 at-bats. Then let's take a look at what we're dealing with from this market perspective. We have this total opening up at 8.5. It's dropped a full run to 7.5. And Ryu's opening up at minus 141. He's now minus 156. Viper says Cleveland's 5-0 straight up last 5 games while playing at home against Toronto. I'm not entirely. I'm surprised I didn't move on Ryu while I was breaking this down last night and today, and it has to be that the doubleheader from yesterday was concerning me. That's the only thing that makes any sense. And in his last start at home versus Tampa, Ryu allowed 8 hits, but he stays out of trouble. He gets a ton of double plays. DC says Lincecum was a short one. His delivery was so wacky. Now he's, not in the league. So should that doubleheader be the doubleheader and then travel? Should that make me nervous? It does. Puzzler says, someone please tell Jansen to stop trying to pull outside pitches. And Danny Jansen can't hit, but he can catch Ryu, which is a very difficult task. So, he'll be in the lineup anytime Ryu's in the line pitching. All right, let's move on. Trinity says, I may not make it to the end of the show. Are you leaning Wilder Knights of Flurries in that? I think if you are betting this game, that the Wild have proved that you should probably take the plus price. I don't want to bet a side in this game. I can't wait to talk about it, but there's some contrasting stuff here. The Golden Knights are 2-8 in their last 10 potential closeout games, but then you have DeBoer, who's 5-0 in Game 7 as head coach. So I want the first period under 1.5 if Fleury's in, and I don't really want to bet a side. TJ says, don't worry about Toronto. Take Cleveland team total first 5 under. Yeah, that would make a ton of sense. Taking the Indian team total under. I think that is probably a very smart look. 20 miles per hour sideways in. Yeah, Brian, 2-8 in their last 10 closeout games. Okay, so Bet365, smart enough not to put first 5 team totals out there. All right, let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Orioles, White Sox. I want to fade Matt Harvey so badly. I want to fade him so badly. But I really hesitated here it's such a huge cost on Keuchel. Do you trust Keuchel? And Dan Kelly said always makes sense to take the Indians team total under. All right, guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. Orioles are 17-33, 11-15 away. White Sox are 29-20, 17-9 at home. TJ says, get another book, bro. Yeah, no, I get it, TJ, but when you can bet on credit and only have to pay 25% in and out every Friday, I mean, it's just like I'm on a bad run this week. If I wasn't in a 25% in and out, I wouldn't be able to fire a whole bunch of shots. There's Kev Riley in the house. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. And Robert Cherry did his first fives at 4 a.m. Been working 4 fives over and unders, waiting for his decays. I like it, Robert Cherry. Looking forward to hear what you have. Mally Mal in the house. I understand North Ender. It hurts me. There's no doubt about it. And maybe with the big score that is going to be coming my way with the Avalanche, I can put I can take half of it, put a couple K down and get a Pinnacle book. I have an account with Pinnacle. I just don't have it loaded up. Robert Cherry, Chicago White Sox, first 5 -1/2 and full game -1.5. CT Bays says Sox and Orioles going over. Keuchel not very good. Harvey the same. That's what I thought, CT Bays. Exactly what I thought, but then the market took it towards the under. And it just gave me pause, wanted to talk it out. This opened at 9 and quickly went down to 8.5. So quickly then went down to 8.5. And that is because it's raining and the wind is 22 mile per hour sideways. And that's going to help these pitchers. It's going to help their movement so much. Harvey, 3-5, 6.31 ERA, 1.58 whip, 45 2/3, 36 Ks, 13 walks, 6 home runs allowed. I want to fade him nonstop. But his last start was against the Nationals, who smashed lefties. And he kind of kept the damage down. 4 2/3, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 6 Ks. TJ, if you're in Canada, just hit me. Just DM me. David Trump says White Sox team total or O's, not a Keuchel fan myself. All right. So Orioles hit lefties much harder than the White Sox hit righties. Orioles are hitting lefties 269, 761 OPS. White Sox hit righties 248, 723 OPS. Orioles bullpen is falling apart in front of us right now. 4.52 ERA, 1.35 whip, converted 9 of 20. White Sox bullpen 3.84 ERA, 1.37 whip, have converted 10 of 19. Nilo says the Orioles are 0-9 in their last 9 road games. And they started out really well. I mean, they were sitting at 11-6. Now 0-9. Okay, so what was the other? So my whole plan was to take the White Sox heavy and to bet the over. But then looking at Harvey's numbers against these guys, they're pretty good. They're 9 for 33 against them with 2 homers. So for Harvey, that's not bad. 273, 823 OPS. Now he's got all this side wind for his pitches, and it's cold. Keuchel, they're hitting 136 with a 310 OPS. They're 3 for 22. 3 for 22. Mancini, 1 for 6. And Rob Free says White Sox do not score runs in the daytime. And it's an evening game, so I'll take the over. So why is this game going to the under? Why don't we just see where the money is in this spot? We'll go over the sports insights for this Orioles White Sox spot. The under has 51% of the tickets, but all the money's on the over. Wow. There's huge bets made on this over. So why would they drop it a half run? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Before this week started, and I started chasing and just not thinking clearly, I wanted everything to be congruent. And when everything lined up, and I thought everything made sense to pull the trigger, and I've gotten away from that. North Ender says weather. It's got to be more than that. Yeah, Glenn Elliott, man, rain all over the place today. So I'm leaving my plan alone. I'm not going to hammer the White Sox. I'm not going to fade Harvey. I'm not going to take the over. David Sharp says, this is what I was talking about fading. The books now know what's up. They're begging for over money and going to get it. I'm betting the under now. Well, we see Razor have enormous success doing that. All right, let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. And yes, Jeff Green will be out for the Nets. Sorry. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Kansas City Royals, 23-25, 11-12 on the road at Minnesota Twins, 20-29, 11-15 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 60 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour in. We have Chris Bubich on the mound, whom I like. 1.14 whip in 23 2/3, 17 Ks, 12 walks. So he's a 1.14 whip with 12 walks and 23 2/3 means he's not getting hit. 1.52 ERA, hasn't allowed a home run this year. In his last start, it was at home versus the Tigers, which is, an easier lineup to go up against. And he did allow 2 earned runs on 6 hits over 5 innings, 3 walks, 3 Ks. It wasn't great. Randy Drobnak, bad numbers so far this year, but looks like he wants to start. He was given that opportunity. First start of the year. He went 6 innings, did not allow a run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a 10-0 win at the Indians. Drobnak has bad numbers this year, 5.75 ERA, 1.28 whip, 20 1/3, 16 Ks, 5 walks, 4 home runs allowed. Aaron Dorise says, what's the taint, fellas? Aaron, no taint right now. Matt Randall is with his family. His son had surgery. So it was successful surgery and everything, and his son's in recovery. But we're just sending as much love and light and prayers over to the family. So that's what's going on there. So no taint. And when the taint comes back, it'll be a great celebration because it'll mean that all is well in the Randall household. Gas Station Sushi says, Harvey, not on my fade list. He has maintained his velocity. I fade pitchers that suddenly lose velocity on their four-seam fastball. Yeah, I agree. Well put. Absolutely well put. All right, Royals versus righties, 228, 677 OPS. Twins hit lefties, 257, 48 OPS, but I like Bubich. So a Royals bullpen, 4.10 ERA, 1.40 whip, are actually improving. 12 of 19 save opportunities they've converted. Twins bullpen, 4.78 ERA, 1.42 whip, converted 10 of 19 save opportunities. This was another one where I had mixed signals because my initial spot was to back support Bubich and Drobnak and take the under. But this went from 8.5 to 9. That threw me for a loop. And Twinkies and Drobnak taking huge money, I guess because there's a lefty on the mound. Minus 130. They open at, they've taken 30 cents. It's now minus 160. Nilo says Bubich 0-2 with 8.31 ERA in 3 career appearances against the Twins. Malian's over in this game. David Sharp says Royals first 5 dog spot. I'm on it. And there's Sammy back from the bank. Nice to see you, Sammy. Okay, so let's take a look at baseball data here. Against Bubich, they're hitting .409 with a 1.155 OPS. So they're 9 for 22 with 2 doubles and a homer. And that must be, that's the reason for the move. Against Drobnak, 10 for 48 with a double and 2 homers. Wow. So the expectations that Bubich is going to get hit. But I see Bubich as a young pitcher with a ton of upside. And if I wanted the Twinkies, I should have gone on them earlier. And I'm not going to take them now after a 30-cent move. So let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, San Diego Padres at Houston Astros. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. And Renee said I went a little bolder with Royals full game. Wow. And I mean, it's tough with the market moving so quickly in that Twinkies direction. All right, let's see if we can get a Houston Astros roof update. Might be too early. And it is closed today. And it is Carlos Correa bobblehead night. Yeah, Mike Macklem, Scott Foster taking a lot of heat. All right, let's go. Minute Maid Park, Texas. Dinelson Lamet versus Framber Valdez. Lamet, 1-0, 1.64 ERA, 1.27 whip, 11 innings, 12 Ks, 4 walks, 0 home runs. His last start, he just went 3 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks, 6-4 win at home versus the Mariners. And then we have Framber Valdez. He fractured his left ring finger in his first start on spring training back March 2nd. Last year, very small sample size, 1.17 whip in 12 innings. But the Padres don't hit lefties hard. 231, 671 OPS. Astros hit righties hard. The Astros are hitting everybody right now. Jose says battle of two pitchers coming back from injuries. Viper MB says total has gone under in 5 of Houston's last 6 games when playing at home against San Diego. And Mike Macklem says leaning under in this game, need to track where the money is. I can do that right now for you if you want to know where the money is. Let's pull it up right now. This is for the Astros-Padres game with all the weather issues that we're going to have today. This is a game we know that's going on. Roof closed in Houston. And we have 64% of the – oh, that's on the spread. Sorry, let's go to money line. So we have 58% of the cash on the Astros, 47% of the tickets on the Astros. And we have another – oh, wow. Look at this. 65% of the tickets on the over, 74% of cash on the under. Wow. That's extremely interesting. So obviously, sharp bets made on the under. Let's take a look at this under. It opened at 8.5, and it's now at 8. And it's at. Let me just see if this is true here and check Bet365. They're telling me that Bet365 still has the under on the board. No, under 8.5. No, they don't. All right. So clearly, big bets have been moved on the under. Jim Bean says, give me a 5-team parlay, Jimmy. All right. Here we go. A little 5-team parlay. Let's go with let's go for our friend here, Jim Bean. Why don't we do a little how about we do futsal? Why don't we do futsal Russia Super League? Take KPRF plus a half at plus 110 and Norilski Nickel plus a half at minus 163. Start with Russian Super League futsal. And why don't we parlay that with a little Italian water polo? We'll go with Met Napoli under 17.5 in their match with Florentia. And then why don't we need 2 more spots. Why don't we go to softball, NCAA softball. Take Alabama minus 260 and finish it with a little netball action. Super netball. Let's go super netball action. Take the Melbourne Vixens at plus 350. Okay. That's what I would do. Just off the top here. Okay, let's get back to work. Sorry, here we go. Padres, Astros obviously moving towards the under. Padres bullpen so strong, 2.52 ERA, 1.09 whip, 19 of 26 save opportunities. And the move was towards the under. It's just difficult putting a lot of money on an under when you have 2 pitchers coming back from injury. So I have not moved on it. I don't know whom to trust. We know that they're 2 quality pitchers, 2 quality young pitchers that both teams are all over. Yeah, Teron, it's been tricky, my man. But giving my props play today is something we very much believe in. All right, let's move to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. LA Angels at Oakland Athletics, Oakland Coliseum, and Rocky Manichetti in the house. Great to see you, Rocky. He's on the over with the Astros. And we got Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Dutch Boy Fresh in us. And here we go. Perfect timing. Chris Brady says, Oakland Angels a little tough today. Like Oakland to handle Ohtani and get after Angels week lineup at home. And first place, Oakland's around minus 140 on the money line. Kind of spendy. It is. It is kind of spendy. CT Bays on the Angels first 5. And Jim Bean, we'll go over MLB again. And we'll go over everything again. And just kind of tricky to put a 5-team parlay in immediately. And coming off a bad day, so I'm a little edgy. I'm a little pissed off. Watching pigeons bang on my balcony. Morning. David Sharp says Angels first 5 plus 120. Sign me up. No Ohtani tax here. All right. Ohtani 1-0, 2.37 ERA, 1.25 whip, 30 and a third, 45 Ks, 22 walks, 3 home runs. Peanut says, what's your son pick, Jimmy? What's up with Jose? Jose will be joining us very soon. Remember, we don't, if he's got a game, he's going to have a game every day. We just haven't got there yet. Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California, 55 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour out to straightaway center. Ohtani was supposed to pitch yesterday, but got stuck in traffic. In his last start, he went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a 3-2 loss at home versus the Indians. Sean Manaea, 3-2, 4.17 ERA, 1.31 whip, 54 innings, 54 Ks, 11 walks, 7 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 0 home runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a 6-5 loss at the Angels. Angels are hitting 238, 715 OPS versus lefties, and that number will continue to drop without Trout in the lineup. And A's versus righties, 222, 709 OPS. Nilo says, Angels are 4-0 in their last 4 games. There's a left-handed starter. Prince of the City says Jimmy has a flying rat at his window. Not only that, but they're banging. They're banging. They're creating baby flying rats. Angels bullpen 5.17 ERA, 1.49 whip, converted 11 of 20 save opportunities. A's bullpen 4.19 ERA, 1.31 whip, converted 13 of 18 save opportunities. Let's go to baseball data here. Against Ohtani, they're 3 for 20 against Ohtani. Chapman is a homer. 3 for 20, 150 average, 620 OPS. Against Manaea, they're hitting 278 with an 820 OPS. Mike Macklem says, skip the parlay. How about a belated birthday pick? Yeah, we can do that. I think the best spot is the first period under 1.5 in Wild Golden Knights if Fleury's in net. But okay, sure, I'll give you a birthday pick right now. Atlanta Hawks first half, -2.5. I hope that's still available. Ricky Levine in the house says, first 5, if anything, this Angels bullpen is trash. And David Sharp says, first 5 under full game over. Angels first 5 plus 120. They have 3 hits off the kid. All right, well, let's look at the market and let's see where the money is. In this Angels spot, we have Manaea opening up at -141. He's now at -147. This total opened up at 8. It's now at 7.5. And I always like seeing where the money is, and Ohtani starts. Look at this. So all the money is on the over here, and it's gone down to 7.5. 98% of the cash at Sports Insights is on the over, and it's dropped from 8 to 7.5. Wow. 64% of the tickets are on Ohtani and the Angels, just 27% of the cash. Dan Kelly's on the Atlanta Hawks team total under 107.5. You know, Dan Kelly, I get it. No taint today, Bleds W. Hopefully we'll be back next week. Atlanta Hawks team total under 107.5. I wanted to take the Atlanta Hawks first half team total over, but I went over all the numbers and I just couldn't bet it. Like, it just went. So I should probably take the under. But okay. All right. So, yeah, very wild, Chris Brady. So they're expecting nice performances from both pitchers here, which means the total first 5 or the full game's gone from 8 to 7.5. What's the first 5 done? The first 5 has gone from 4.5 down to 4.5 down to 3.5 at some books. Let's just see when Bookmaker's still at 4. Bookmaker only opened it at 4. So Pinnacle was the one that opened it at 3.5. Excuse me. Pinnacle opened it at 4.5. Why would I have... Let me just make sure my settings are right. Okay, it says it was an opener at... Oh, no, it was opener. Excuse me. 4, sorry. 4.5. It opened at 4.5. Now at 4. Wow. Very, very. David Sharp says, now I'm betting the under again. This is going to pay. I'm telling you, when money's all in one way and total moves the other way, it's like the books ask for more money for a reason. And then let's just see what Bet365 is holding it at here. first 5 in this. God, minus 125 on the under 4. You're a good man, Turnsy. Robert Cherry says FanDuel at 3.5, but juiced to the over last night. And John Garcia wishing a speedy recovery to the Randall family. Thank you, Johnny. Man, is it worth this under 4 at this juice? So they're expecting a nice start from Minaya going up against Ohtani. And we see pitchers do that. We see pitchers step up when they're going up against Ohtani. All right, there's too much juice. I don't think I can do it at minus 125. Are we saying there's a 57%, 56% implied probability on this under 4? Thank you for the kind words, North Ender. We just work together. We're a team here. I will never sell you guys anything. But I need to make money. And I just think I think there's just too much juice associated with this. I'm going to leave it as a lean right now. All right. A balcony. Thank you, Puzzler. Since a dovecote is a pigeon breeding shelter, your balcony could be called a balcote. All right. TJ says they just faced the Angels. They just faced Minaya 5 days ago, and he looked good. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. But you're right. That is a problem. Even though he could easily do it again, that is a problem. Okay, I'm going to take it off. That's just too much juice. Okay, we move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up, St. Louis Cardinals at Arizona Diamondbacks. Cardinals are 28-22, 13-12 on the road. Arizona Diamondbacks 18-33, 9-12 at home. We have a last note from Nilo saying in Minaya's career, he's made 11 starts against the Angels, just 2-4, 4.82 ERA. Those games can't go with the A's. Sorry. The career numbers against the team aren't as important to me as the numbers against the team. And they're not great. We went over them. 278, 20 OPS. But I hear you. Sammy says play of the day, Reggie Bullock over 2.5 threes at plus 135. Ooh, nice risk reward there. I like it. We have Johan Oviedo up against Madison Bumgarner. It's 101 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour, sideways out to right. As we know, they're keeping the roof open for all night games. And I'm sure that will change as soon as they feel more comfortable with the pandemic. Oviedo's last start was awful. At the Padres, 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 home runs, 5 walks, no strikeouts. Madison Bumgarner, 4-4, 4.53 ERA, 1.08 whip, 53 2/3, 56 Ks, 14 walks, 7 home runs. David Trump says, I bet this last night. Cards team total over 4.5. Cards versus left-handed pitcher in the Arizona Heat. Cash it. North Ender, I thank you for mentioning that, but I just want everybody's pockets to grow. And when somebody puts a donation over to Pub Sports Radio, Pub Sports Radio isn't this huge company, right? This is a Jeff Slaughter's, one guy who has a dream to put something special together, something that he believes in. And I'm very proud to be a part of the company and be working for him. So if somebody wants to put $10 or $20 into the, as a YouTube dono, I just want your pockets to grow, and I want our pockets to grow together. And that is all I want so badly. And but thank you for thinking of me, North Ender. All right, let's get back to this Oviedo Madison Bumgarner start. Bumgarner 4.53 ERA, 1.08 whip, 53 2/3, 56 Ks, 14 walks, 7 home runs. In his last start, 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 home run, 0 walks, 2 Ks, 7-6 loss at the Rockies. And as our guy Sharpie saying, Cards versus lefties 250, 769 OPS. Diamondbacks versus righties 230, 678 OPS. And Chris Brady says, I just got a phone call from my sister. Her husband's dad is passing away. Sad. He was a good friend of mine. Sorry to hear that, Chris Brady. It's a very tough time dealing with death right now, just because you can't easily go visit people. And I know that's changing faster in the States than it is in Canada, but we send your family a ton of love, and sorry to hear you're going through that, Chris. LCS says, first time I'm watching your show, bro. I've really enjoyed it so far. Keep up the great work. Thank you, LCS. Thank you. Turkey said we went from eating rabbits, talk to praising Jimmy. You know what? It's been a really bad week and cost me a lot of money, and wife is pissed off. She better not get too pissed off because she's not my wife. I just call her that to make her feel good. But she's pissed off. She has every right to be. I keep whispering to her, the Avalanche are going to pay our rent next month. Don't worry. They'll pay our month the rent after that. Sweet baby, sleep. Sleep, don't get mad. But it doesn't seem to work. Nilo says time to open up the glory hole business again. All right, we move on. Cards, Diamondbacks. So Cards smash lefties. Diamondbacks are hitting just 230, 678 OPS versus righties. And yeah, Chris, so much love to you, man. So much love to you, man. You have a family here. I love you very, very much. There's Antoine Seymour in the house. We miss you, Antoine Seymour. God, we need your best bets, man. Much love to you, Prince of the City. Enjoy the weekend, my man. And as soon as the border opens up, we got trips set up. Atlantic City will be one of them, real cheap for us to get down there, and then we can head over to Philly for a day, head over to New York for a day, and all that good stuff. Okay. So Diamondbacks bullpen terrible. The Cards hit lefties. The Diamondbacks don't hit righties, but Johan Oviedo is terrible. So it's kind of saying that this first 5 over should be in play. Let's see what we are dealing with here from a market perspective. Yeah, it moved to 4.5 from 4.5 to 5. Of course it did. Why can't I come up with these before I get here? Now, it did change at 7:30 p.m. yesterday. It went from 4.5 to 5 at 7:30 p.m. So it's not like we missed it by that much. We have a Cardinals team that smashes lefties and a terrible pitcher on the mound for the Cardinals. Let's see what the juice is associated. The first 5 over 5s at minus 115. It's hot. The wind's out to right. That's not always the situation. Thank you, Christopher Carter. I hope so. David Sharp said to me, these two bullpens are just as bad as these two pitchers. Well, Cards bullpen 4.09 ERA, but so you're saying go full game. And let's just see what the full game movement has been here. Full game money lines and totals. Then we'll see what the market is, where the money's going. Full game here in St. Louis, Arizona has gone from 9 to 9.5. I feel like I just missed the opportunity here. Let's just see when that moved from 9 to 9.5 for the full game. Where are we here? Totals. Yeah, it opened at 9. I had 11 hours. It didn't move to 9.5 for 11 hours in my book, and it's yes, CT Bay's roof is open. They're keeping it open on night games, almost all night games. It's going to be open tonight. It's going to be open tomorrow night. They're going to close it on Sunday. Joe Jones has Cards an under team, but with Oviedo on the bump and against lefties. Yeah, I think they're runs. All right. I lean towards this first 5 over. I like the first 5 over 5. I'm just a little nervous with messing this up and not getting on it earlier, at least the full game. First 5 over 5 was what they opened it at Bet365, so there's nothing I could have done there. So I think first 5 over 5 is a move that I will be making. Cardinals, Diamondbacks. All right, 10:10 p.m. Eastern is next. We have the San Francisco Giants 30-20, 16-13 on the road at Los Angeles Dodgers 31-19, 17-6 at home, and it brings us, God, to my son. It feels like he's walking across the stage at his university graduation right now, and He's coming off back-to-back winners. There was a lot going against him. But the Say Hey play of the day is spot on. We now have the Say Hey play of the day from our man Jose, hitting at 3-4, down 0.91 units, down 13%, average line of plus 102. I like that a lot. Nilo, very kind of you. He put a little bunny there. All right. Here we go. Turnsy says, Jose is my kid eating today. Please welcome to the show, off back-to-back winners, Jose.
Oh, hello, Jimmy. How are you? I had to just jump up and just sprint to go grab this. So I'm glad I could do this in the time. So thank you, Jimmy, for having me on and believing in me. It really does feel like I'm graduating.
Is that from your high school graduation or from your university graduation?
This is university. This is in fact. Yeah. Yep. I've got that 4 years of education. There we go. I've got him. This is it's a good look for me, you know.
It is.
I've got, you know, you want to see it too. It's nice. It's decorated as well. It's very nice.
Beautiful.
I know. My girlfriend made it for me. Not a big deal.
Oh no, I wouldn't. Well, we'd have to see a picture if it's a big deal. Jose, let's ask you this here off the top. What school and what did you graduate in?
UTSA. Go Roadrunners. The University of Texas at San Antonio. Everyone knows about them.
Sure.
I'm a communications guy, so I can hash it out with people. I can tell if you don't like me by your body language. You know.
What is this thing? What is that?
It says there's a deep love of me. That is what I say.
Okay, no, you are good. You are good.
Yeah. Hey, you know, sometimes you have to express the hate to show the love.
Oh, wow. Jesus. That's so beautiful. I get more and more proud of you day in and day out. Let's get right to work. You've won back-to-back. You're running hot, Jose. And you have chosen this Giants-Dodgers game to attack here. Anthony DeSclafani on the mound 5 days after getting destroyed by this Dodgers lineup. 2 2/3, 9 hits, 10 earned runs, 1 home run, 3 walk, and 3 Ks in an 11-5 loss. Going up against Buehler, who also saw these Giants last out, but he had a great start. 1 earned run, 6 hits in 7 innings, 1 walk, 5 Ks. The Dodgers smash righties. The Giants hit righties. Both bullpens are on the improve very quickly. Let me give you a market here on this big spot. Late game action in Chavez Ravine. And by the way, Chavez Ravine means a lot to me. I spent some time in Echo Park, and I got egged on day 4, my 4th day in Echo Park. I was leaving a convenience store, and I took about 6 eggs.
4 days too early, I guess.
No, they weren't proud of me in the neighborhood. They would call me dude, and I would run. I ran 4 or 5 times. Okay, Buehler opening up at minus 175. He's now minus 193. This total was initially juiced to the under 7.5. It's now juiced to the over 7.5. That's a pretty low total. A pretty low total here for a pitcher who just got rocked. How are you handling this?
Well, Jimmy, you said it yourself. This guy just got rocked. He's a paisan. Every time our good friend Bobano talks about him, I have to get him to do the Italian accent, throw his hands around a little bit. Jimmy, if you wanna give us your Italian DeSclafani, I would appreciate that as well. But you know, it's up to you. It's fielder's choice.
How about no?
Okay, fair enough.
You know, you're graded never blocking. I like to do the opposite.
Fair enough. I'm a yes man, Jimmy. I'm a yes man. I dyed my hair because I'm a yes man. And we made a bet because I'm a yes man that you already seem like you've won, by the way, Jimmy. You're feeling very bold about your Avalanche.
Yes, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. But it looks like they'll be playing, if the Bruins get through the Islanders and the Avs get through the next round, it's a Boston-Colorado matchup in the semis.
I would be very concerned for my well-being and your well-being too. You know.
Well,
The pain train.
Let's not worry about a thing.
You're right.
Let's not worry about
You're
a
right.
thing. Let's not worry about a thing. Let's go back to how you are hammering this game.
So Desclafani, you said it yourself. He stinks. He's 1-6 lifetime versus the Dodgers. He got rocked last time out. 2 innings, 10 earnings. That's not good. That's not what you want in your starting pitcher. The bullpen crew has been getting better for the Giants, but I'm more thinking about the Dodgers here. The Dodgers 5th best in offense this month. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They finally turned the shit around from them going like 2-14. They started off like 14-2. Now they've flipped it again. Now they're back on their hot streak. They've got the 16th most home runs against righties at home, but with significantly less at bats. I'm gonna go ahead and just take Dodgers team total over -105. I found a lot of interesting numbers. There was a lot of high numbers you couldn't really wrap your head around, but the Dodgers team total just seemed like a pretty easy thing to me. They didn't hit it last night. They hit a 4, which is pretty disappointing, but that was with Alex Wood on the bump too, pitching well. So I'll fade Desclafani. I'm sorry to all the Paisans out there, but you got to do what you got to do.
Very, very interesting look here. It makes sense. Desclafani, obviously, just atrocious numbers here. 357, 938, obviously, after that last start. And then let's just see where the money is in this big game here. We have all the – actually, no. 61% of the tickets on the Dodgers, 65% of the cash. And then 67% of the tickets on the over, 95% of the cash on the over. And your team total here, Jose, what is the number you got it at?
I have it at 4.5 -105. That was with my local. I know we're big fans of shopping around. You look at your Bet365s, your Pinnacles, which by the way has the most fancy official sounding book name of all the books that I've seen. So yes. I just wanted to point that out to everyone.
And it is a great book. I have the same number as you though, over 4.5 at -105. Very, very interesting spot. Our man Jose going for 3 straight winners and to show up on Tuesday morning as in plus units. But Tuesday morning, you won't be showing up, right? Because you're heading to a big baseball game.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I am going. Actually, you know what, Jimmy? I think I will be here Tuesday morning. I will make an appearance on the show, but I will be leaving that morning to go to Houston. Red Sox, Astros. It is my yearly tradition. I'm 1-2. Excuse me, 1-2 so far. But I'm going for 2 games this year to try to turn my luck around. And I implore everyone while I'm there to bet the Astros because I am shitty luck. One of my nicknames is Bad Luck Bucket. So
Bad Luck Bucket.
Yes, Bucket is one of my nicknames. So
I like that nickname. Some really nice things coming in from the chat about you, Jose, as always. Nilo says Jose stole that hat. Didn't he graduate last year and it doesn't fit? He said that
I have a gigantic head. An absolutely gigantic head. That is something you guys will know about me. All of my hats fit small and it's terrible.
There you go. Jose, say hey, play of the day. Dodgers team total over 4.5 -105 going for 3 straight. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
There he goes. Say hey, play of the day. We have just one more game, and then we go into NBA playoffs and Game 7 in the NHL with Mr. Gogster. We have Texas Rangers at Seattle Mariners, T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. The roof is closed. Jordan Lyles, 2-3, 5.94 ERA, 1.54 WHIP, 50 innings, 44 Ks, 18 walks, 10 home runs. His last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 8 for a win at home versus the Astros. Going up against Justice Sheffield, a pitcher whom I like, who's not been very good. 3-4, 5.11 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, 44 innings, 34 Ks, 18 walks, 5 home runs. In his last start, he got touched up at the Padres, and the Padres don't hit lefties hard. And they got 7 hits, 5 earned runs in 5 innings, 5 walks, 3 Ks. Rangers are 242, 691 OPS versus lefties. The Mariners are just 203, 639 OPS against righties. Mariners bullpen 3.92 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. Got a rest yesterday with a great start by Flexen. Rangers bullpen 4.22 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, converted 12 of 18 save opportunities. And this situation really hurt me last night. I was just making that mistake of reaching to try and catch up late at night. Against Lyles, they're hitting 279 with a 768 OPS. Kyle Lewis, 4 for 8 with a double and a homer. Kyle Seager, 4 for 20 with a homer. Kyle Seager getting a lot of barrels on balls this year. He's 5th in the majors and barreling up on the ball. Against Sheffield, these guys are hitting 346 with a 916 OPS. So it would lead you to think, well, the over's got to be in play, but that is not the case. This total's gone from 9 to 8.5, and Sheffield and the Mariners are gone from minus 114 to minus 121. It does make me feel like we could back Texas here in the first 5, but I will never back Jordan Lyles under any circumstances. So I'm off of this spot. I'm not going to bet at this point. There's Trot Wham in the house. Great to see you, Wham Bam. We're talking NHL or NBA right now. Let's just review MLB. I'm on the full game under 7.5 in Rockies, Pittsburgh. The only addition I think on the whole card right now is I've added the Nats full game. I'm already on the Nats first 5 minus 120. And then I've doubled up on the Yankees, Tigers, unders. And that is my card. Oh, no. I'm very close to adding that first 5 over 5 in Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks. And I like Jose's look on the Dodgers team total over 69 Fahrenheit, clear 6 miles per hour to right center. It just seems a little fishy. You know what? It just seems too fishy for me. I guess I'll stay off of it. It seems a little fishy that after smashing Disclafani that it would be so low. All right, there you have it. That is MLB. Let's move on to NBA right now. Stanley says Rockies, Pirates likely rained out. Let's move on to NBA right now, and then we move on to our big NHL game with Mr. Gogster. We are in NBA East first round game 3. Series tied 1-1. New York Knicks 41-31, 16-20 on the road. Atlanta Hawks 41-31, 25-11 at home at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I moved on the Hawks first half minus 2.5 of minus 110. They're letting a full capacity crowd in here in Atlanta, and it's going to be loud and it's going to be crazy. Now, I know that didn't work for Miami. Now, Miami didn't have a full capacity crowd. It didn't work for Miami, and I'm expecting it to work here for Atlanta. I also think the fact that they fell apart in the second half of game 2 helps. But we've already seen Dan Kelly take the team total under for the Atlanta Hawks, and it's an interesting spot. Why am I not in all of a sudden? All right. We have this total opening up at 4, moving to 4.5, and now at 5. And actually, I don't have it opening at 4. Excuse me. Open at 4.5, now at 5. I jumped on that first half. Let's see where that is right now. I got 2.5 of minus 110, and there's now 3s across the board. That makes me feel good. Let's go to the totals perspective. This first half totals at 107.5, which was the same as that Grizzlies Jazz game 2 that went way over. And this full game 211. Bet365 has moved it to 11.5. Yes, I bet Miami first quarter, and it was a mistake. I bet Miami first quarter, and yes, it was a mistake. Tron Hopkins, give me my props play of the day. Kyrie over 24.5 points. I'm going to copy and paste that here for the next game. I hear that, Kev, but it's supposed to stop raining at 5 o'clock, and they'll cover that. They'll cover the field. I like that look on Kyrie. This is the type of spot that I've backed him on player props when he goes, plays against the former team. All right, let's talk more about this Knicks Hawks spot. Derrick Rose goes for 26. Julius Randle's been struggling, but he came up big in the second half. Trae Young is just rolling right now. He gets 30 points. He got 32 in game 1. Bogdanovich and DeAndre Hunter each at 18. Don't panic. Jose's play of the day is the LA Dodgers team total over 4.5 at minus 105. Pop Sports Radio says not one person on the Celtics can guard Kyrie, unfortunately. So we talk about the home team being able to dictate pace, and clearly the Lakers were able to do that in game 3. And if the home team dictates pace here, then you would think that this Atlanta team total would go over. But the Knicks are they want to fight you in an alley kind of a squad. And they don't want to get in a perimeter shooting contest with the Hawks. They want to slow it down. They want to defend the perimeter. And it just made me not bet. I was sitting there staring at that team total all last night, and I couldn't pull the trigger. And then I moved to the first half team total, and I couldn't pull the trigger on that either. This first half team total right now, or the full game team total for the Hawks, is at 107.5. We've already heard that Dan Kelly's on the under. The team total for the Knicks is at 103.5. And then when we go to the first half team total, sorry, let me move here right now. First half team totals is gone down to 54.5. So the first half team totals dropped a whole point. Kevin Riley says, I bet Miami first quarter. Also quickly switched to the live bet Milwaukee. Smart move. Gerald Jones says Atlanta wins by 2. Dennis Garcia says they really betting Atlanta like they have tomorrow's newspaper. Let's go over there right now. A lot of money coming in on Atlanta. And let's see where it is. So on the spread, you have 52% of the tickets on Atlanta, but 71% of the cash on the spread is on the Knicks. That's telling. When we get to the money line, you have 36% of the tickets on Atlanta and 69% of the money. So if you believe the market, then Atlanta will win and the Knicks will cover. The total is very even. Very, very, very even with the over and the under. Okay, so for me, I am on the Hawks first half minus 2.5, minus 110, and that will be my only bet at this point on the game. Dennis Garcia says under, yes, maybe the market can convince me to play the Knicks. Jerron Hopkins says take Atlanta in the series. That's interesting. Let's just quickly look at what that would cost right now if you wanted to win series. The Hawks are minus 160. It's a little too juiced. Rondell Berkeley said John Collins had 0 points last game. That's not happening today. Trawam says tough cap, Eileen Hawks. R says Hawks have more shooters, tough game. And I think that we're going to see somewhat similar stuff to what we've already seen. I think Atlanta can get out of the gate fast. I think they can take the lead going into the half, and then the Knicks will slowly and surely slow them down. Dennis Garcia says, I honestly think being on the road can help the Knicks settle down. They were trying to do too much early in game 2. I think that's an interesting angle, Dennis. Stan Lynch says Knicks are 23-13 against the spread on the road. JT also likes the Hawks as well. That's Talk Sports with JT. So I moved on the Hawks first half minus 2.5, minus 110. I'm very comfortable with that. And that's where I'm going to stay. DC liking DeAndre Hunter props. Why don't we just take a quick look at the prop market? Very, very quick look at the prop market. We're going to move on to game 2. And we have Barrett at 16.5. Reggie Bullock at 10.5, juice to the over. Randall at 24.5. Derrick Rose at 18.5, juice to the over. John Collins at 13.5, juice to the under. DeAndre Hunter at 11.5, juice to the over. Trae Young at 26.5. Gerald Jones says, what's the first half line? It was 2.5, and it's now 3. Okay, we move on to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We have game 3. Brooklyn Nets, 48-24, 10-16 on the road. The Boston Celtics, 36-36, 21-15 at home. We're at TD Garden. Boston, Massachusetts. Kevin Riley on the over 227. And give me my props play of the day from our guy, Teron Hopkins, is over 24.5 on Kyrie Irving. He says he's averaging 30 in 3 games. There's Boston at 37 last game. He played Boston coming off a 15-point game. I expect him to be aggressive in front of this Boston crowd. I think you're absolutely right. And then the only concern, again, Tron, will be what if they blow them out and he doesn't play the fourth quarter? There's Robert Allen in the house. What up, my man? Great to see you. So let's talk about this spot here and look at the market moves and how we want to move on it. This total opened up at 228. It's now 227. It has dropped a point. And from a spread perspective, we have Brooklyn opening up at -7. They're now at 8.5, and a couple books have even moved it to 9. Dennis Garcia says, go Brooklyn, though I'm tempted to take Boston first half, under 227 for sure. Don't panic. Don't panic, Ours says, I can't trust Kyrie with a prop bet. 1, blowout. 2, he might burn Sage and go flat earth mode. Dan Kelly says, will Kyrie be getting a lot of love from Celtic fans in his playoff return there since leaving for Brooklyn? I don't think so. And our guy Mills, MMA Locker Room, says, bet yo lunch money yesterday, 2-0, back with Durant, over 7.5 rebounds. Teron Hawkins says, Boston last gasp is tonight. I think if you want Celtics first half, Dennis, I mean, I'm sure you know this, you wait as long as possible because money is just going to pour in on the Nets. Polo this, Polo that says Nets at -11, plus 130, easy. All right. Joe Harris rolling. Led the NBA in three-point percentage this year at 47.5%. Had a career-high 25 points in Game 2. Durant goes for 26, and they dominate 130-108. Marcus Smart, 19 points. Kemba, 17. Jason Tatum, 9 points. 3 of 12 shooting. Played 21 minutes, then left after getting poked in the eye. Boston's now lost 9 straight playoff games to the Nets. They're 2-10 against them in the playoffs. Trotwam says took Brooklyn -8.5 and Dallas Clippers over 219.5. And Dennis says, yep, waiting for the 4. I was with Dennis on the under 227 in the first game, and that was, you could tell we were in trouble immediately. See what Fortunaut says. I don't bet on NBA for the same reason I don't bet on harness racing, but you guys keep playing the Trotters. What the hell are you talking about? When have you ever seen me bet the Trotters? I do 10 or 11 hours of racing shows. And what are you talking about, Fortunat? And you can't give us a reason. Okay, whatever. That's not a reason. I can't say I don't bet the NBA for the same reason I don't bet water polo, but you guys keep betting water polo. All right. Robert Cherry on WNBA, Connecticut -7.5, Chicago under 170, and Seattle -6, team total over 86.5, and Las Vegas over 166.5. Thank you for sharing that with us, Robert Cherry, who cashes in WNBA. Keep an eye on what he's doing. So yeah, I think the fear of the the fear of the blowout will keep Kyrie is enough to keep me off the Kyrie prop. A first half player prop might be a little more interesting. Okay. So do we go to the under? Do we move to the under? I do not want to go up against Kevin Riley, who's on the over. Okay. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We have Mr. Gogster joining us here. Game 7 of Wild Golden Knights coming up. Just one more game to cap. Game 3, Clippers, Mavericks. Man, and there's our guy Alex Ramirez started the Spidey play today. Clippers, Mavericks. This is the game I can't wait to watch. Clippers 47-25, 21-15 on the road. Dallas Mavericks 42-30, 21-15 at home. American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Clippers have now lost 4 straight dating back to the regular season. What happens when push comes to shove with this team? They don't show up. They open as 2-point favorites and now 2.5-point favorites. This total opens up at 219. It's up to 219.5, and you have to think it's going to be public money all over the over because the scores are being so high, and that's what's happened. We have 67% of the tickets on the over, but 54% of the cash on the under. And 64% of the cash on the Clippers on the spread. 76% of the cash on the Clippers on the money line. And Ergo Caustic says, water polo draws are great. I'm the best water polo country. He lives in the best water polo country in the world. I did not know that, Ergo Caustic, and respect. Tron Hopkins say they fold like long chairs. Jerry Beatty says Clippers first half max bet. North Ender says old man Clippers getting worked by young, fresh Mavs. Turns he says Clippers are dookie. Doncic goes for 39. Tim Hardaway, we talked about it before the series started. He was white hot, so hot going into the playoffs, and he's just continued that. And they're out shooting the number 1 shooting 3-point team. They're out shooting. Porzingis goes for 20. Kleber goes for 13. Hardaway hits 6 more threes. The Clippers, Kawhi goes for 30 in the first half, 41 in the game. Paul George goes for 28 and 12, and they can't win. They go 13 and 33 from three. Czar said Kawhi had a huge first half and they lost. Polo this, polo that. Luka plus 4 plus threes and a win at plus 430. Hardaway 4 plus threes and a win plus 520. Robert Allen says, I don't get how so many people are taking the Clippers. They couldn't stop Dallas in LA. How the hell are they going to stop them in Dallas? Dennis Garcia says, I think we can agree this is the Clippers season. I'm playing the under. I don't trust the Clippers to close the game out. Rather trust their effort to bring their A defensive game. That's all the talk from the Clippers is that they're going to defend. And that's why this total comes out at 219.5. That they're going to defend. Can they do it? And I was expecting a higher total to be dropped than 219. I mean, I read all those comments or those quotes, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take the under. And then it comes around at 219. And all right, I've got leans towards the under in the Clippers, Mavericks, and the Celtics, Nets. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger. K-Paul VIP says, I can't see myself putting my hard-earned biscuits on the Clippers until they show up. Toronto Hopkins says, I only trust Luka in the series. I trust Hardaway Jr. as well. And Nikolai Jabinski with Nats plus 4.5. Marlins plus 4.5. Oh, over. Nats over 4.5. Marlins over 4.5. Reds over 4.5. Tiger over 4.5. And Sam Lynch says, a lot of Clippers not worried about the quotes. Yeah, I don't believe that. DC says Kawhi over 30.5. I have a rule about taking player props over 29.5, and it just crossed my line. My ROI is just bad. I can't get away from it. So there you have it. I'm on the Atlanta Hawks first half minus 2.5. Beyond that, I like the unders in the other two games. I just don't know if I can pull the trigger, and I expect money to keep coming in on those totals over. So there'll be no move for me. Let me just check one more time where the money is in this Brooklyn game. Oh, yeah, all the money's on the under. All the cash is on the under. There's been some big bets on Brooklyn, Boston under. Wow, maybe I should just go back to the well on the under then. Okay, I'm going to go back to the well on this Brooklyn, Boston under. And I might add the under in the Dallas Clippers game. All right, let's move on to NHL and bring on the man of the hour, coming off a 5-0 plus 5.51 unit day, Mr. Gogster, eating last night, baby. Great work.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. What's going on, fellas? Let's get some cash today. Let's go.
Oh, I remember those days with cash. That was way back, man. I love that shit. Gogster, spectacular work last night. The Hurricanes money line was, good, but going against the market on the overs was spectacular. Cashing those first period overs so quickly, and then getting the full games late. It doesn't matter when you get them. You got them all plus lines. Very, very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, today's a tough one, Jim. This series has had my number all damn playoffs, this damn series. So let's talk it out.
Let's talk it out. First things first, before we get into the market, Minnesota Wild versus Vegas Golden Knights. Can DeBoer possibly not start Marc-Andre Fleury?
No, if they can't. I don't think they can. Lehner hasn't been a guy I really can trust all year. It's one game. That's the question, Jim. I haven't really thought of that. I just thought right away they're going to go to Fleury, even though I don't like what I've been seeing from Fleury in the last couple of games. I just think it's too much to ask for Lehner. Maybe, Jim, but it doesn't ring a bell for me. I don't know if Lehner's going to – I don't know. I think I'd stick with Fleury. What about you?
I would stick with Fleury, but DeBoer is 5-0 in Game 7s, and he has no problem breaking hearts. This guy, he'll start Lehner in a heartbeat, but we know Lehner well. We know Lehner bipolar. Lehner had real alcohol issues and went to rehab and cleaned that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's been pretty quiet during these playoffs.
He's been quiet during the playoffs for sure, but it's a pretty stressful thing starting a goaltender in Game 7 of a series, and Not that he's not capable of doing it. Leonard's a good goalie. But I don't know him. The board knows him. And last year, he chose Leonard over Fleury.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Didn't work out too well, but
I can't take the first period under 1.5 until I know who's in goal for Vegas.
yeah, that's a real tough one, Jim. I have all the stats for the first period. It's went 4-2 to the under in the first period, and 3 of those 4 had no goals in the first either. So they've been dead straight unders, but the ones that have went over, there was 4 goals in the one game. I think that was game number 5. I'm leaning towards the overs again, guys. And it's only at 5, Jim. Minus 129 I saw on Pinnacle. What Fleury's been doing lately, I don't like at all, guys. The last 2 games, he has so many notes. 31 saves out of a possible 37 in 2 games at an 83% save percentage. So that's not – he is going to be going back home, but he didn't look good in game 5 either, saving only 10 of 13 and then 21 of 24, Jim. Look at Talbot on the other hand, guys. This guy's been money. 61 saves out of a possible 63 in the last 2 games. Clutch games that they've had to win, 96% save percentage. So Talbot's been the better of the 2 goalies down the stretch, and he's definitely been tested a hell of a lot more than Fleury has. So with that being said, I can't take Vegas here. You talk about DeBoer. They beat this Vegas team in 2019 when Fleury was in net, and I think they lost 5-4 in overtime. So, and it was the exact same situation, Jim. They lost game 1. They won 3 games against San Jose, and they lost the next 3 against San Jose, which is looking very similar to this situation. I dug a little deeper too, guys. 2014, the same situation for Fleury when he was with Pittsburgh. Lost game 1, won game the next 3 games in a row, and then they lost the following 3. And that was on the road against the New York Rangers. And he's allowed at least 3 or 4 goals in those 2 game 7. So that's where when you say Leonard, Jim, you never know. You really never know if he's going to throw Leonard just because of maybe a track record with Fleury. I like what I've been seeing from Minnesota lately, guys. Talbot's been playing good hockey, but this is where Vegas come to play at home. They've been a great home team since they came into the league. I don't think that's going to change here. I'm not going to choose the side. It's too tough for me here, Jim. I do like the over. It's going to be a best bet, full game over 5 minus 129. I just over streaks, man. I got to ride them. I expected to see a 5.5 at even plus 105, but I think this is a good line here.
Mark Stone in game 6, 1 shot on goal, 1 giveaway, 0 hits.
Yeah. Look at him the game before that, though. The man produces a lot of offense, at home. So it was a real bad effort there. I don't like the shot attempts, I don't like what I've been seeing from the defense from Vegas either, Jim. As much as it's, you need Fleury to put up a save. Fleury doesn't look as good. He doesn't look nearly as good. And the way Minnesota's firing, Fiala especially, Kaprizov, you can't take anything away from Zach Parise in game 7s. They got some experience here. Zuccarello. I think we're going to see some fireworks. I wouldn't be surprised if the first period does go over. I'm not going to take it. I think as time goes on, we're going to see some goals. They're going to kind of get after each other. Also, Minnesota guys, they haven't had the greatest power play on the road this year, in the playoffs. But overall in the year, they have a 30% power play on the road. So they definitely, if you give this team a chance on the power play, they can put the puck in the back of the net. And they only had a 70% penalty kill on the road as well. So I think this is going to be more of an over game, as much as Minnesota probably doesn't want that to happen. OT is another look I could possibly see here, Jim. What do you think?
OT is very, very possible, and you get a huge risk reward when you bet that.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have DeBoer 5-0 in game 7s as a head coach. He's won a game 7 with the Devils, with the Sharks, and with Vegas. Only coach in NHL history to win his first 5 career 7th games.
It's impressive.
And you have the Golden Knights, who are 2-8 in their last 10 potential closeout games. So I did not think that Lehner was an option until I started hearing it from everywhere in the media. A lot of people think that Robin Lehner could be in net tonight. Jonas Brodin has been so good in these playoffs. The Minnesota Wild defense is very good. And they create situations where guys like Mark Stone are non-existent in a hugely important game.
Mm-hmm.
The total has gone from 5.5 to 5. Now that 5.5 was at minus 140 or minus 135 and up. So it's gone down to minus to the 5. The first period under was at minus 125 this morning and last night. It's now minus 135. So 10-cent move towards the under. A lot of money coming in. Well, we assume on the under. Why don't we just see where the money is here and go over the sports insights? And I do want to talk a little bit about Saturday night's action because we don't have a Saturday show. So
yes.
Let's do this here quickly. For the total, we have 57% of the tickets on the over, 65% of the cash on the over.
That's where I'm leaning towards. Mm-hmm.
And for the tickets, 56% of the tickets are on Vegas, 80% of the cash is on Vegas. And that can be because there's so many books in Vegas and Vegas fans. Rude Jude says wild or nothing for me. Turnsy says I'm pulling the trigger, wild money line.
I like it, guys. I wouldn't be. I can't. Your goalie isn't looking good in Fleury right now. You got question marks in Game 7. This is the wrong time you want to have question marks between the pipes, guys. Big time. Meanwhile, Talbot's looking great.
I would have confidence in Fleury in a Game 7.
I do, but the more I looked into it, Jim, it was kind of some red flags were coming up, and then you look at the way he's been playing lately. It's like it kind of looks like a story we've seen before in 2019 and 2014. It's crazy. It's the exact same situations. They lose Game 1, they win 3 games, and then they lose the next 3. Is it going to be a trifecta here? I don't know, but it kind of smells like it.
Slat says such value for the Wild at plus 160.
Yeah.
All right. I need to know for sure what's going on in goal, and I don't want to be on the other side. But you're not taking first period overs.
No, I'm not doing the first period here. It could be a slower start. I think as time goes on, get some power plays, especially third period. Jim could be desperate late if a team's down 2-1, even 3-1. I don't think it's going to get that extensive, but OT is also going to be. I'm going to put a third of a unit on the OT here, Jim, at plus 314. So if it does stay 2-2. And we get the push on the over, we'll cash a little bit of money on the OT. But I like the full game over. That's going to be a full unit. Then I'm doing a little third on the OT as well.
All right, let's talk about Saturday night. We're going to start with Leafs, Habs, Game 6. 2,500 fans going to be in attendance. Right now at Bet365, the Habs are at plus 167. The total's at 5.5, and it's only minus 120 towards the under, and I find that interesting. What's your thoughts on the big Game 6 in Montreal?
Well, I've been just like you say with Lanner. I've been hearing Anderson's been coming up a lot. A lot, yeah. So I don't know if he's going to go. There's a lot of question marks here, guys. Initial looks right away. I'd be thinking overs again. It looks like Montreal have some confidence behind them. They had production from Armia on that fourth line, which has been humming. I would have to look over still. Campbell goes. I really like the over. If Anderson goes, I don't know. I did expect this guy to eventually start playing more because they rested him a lot, Jim. So if Campbell didn't have the run he had, this guy would have been starting Anderson. But I almost expect to see Anderson here. So it kind of kills my over. I don't know, guys. This is a real tough one. Check me out on Twitter there, Ego47_, and I'll have some updates and I'll have my picks there for tomorrow. And even Sunday, guys. Sunday, we're going to have Game 1 for Colorado versus either Minnesota, Vegas, Jim. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So they're not messing around.
Yeah, and it's that first game after a 7-game series is not the letdown spot that some imagine. It's always that second game of the series that is the letdown spot. Dennis says they're pricing you into Montreal. They're also pricing me into the under at that point. All right, let's talk about Game 1, Islanders, Bruins. Both teams with a lot of confidence and rolling into this second round. The perfection line looked excellent against the Capitals. The acquisitions the Islanders made are all working. I mean, of course, Lou Lamoriello is such an incredible hockey mind. What is your expectation, and who do you like to win the series?
So I'm just trying to think on the spot here. So Boston, they went up against Washington's defense. Now going up against the Islanders. A bit of an uptick for the Islanders. It's going to be tougher for them. Islanders offense is humming too. This is going to be a really tough series. Sorokin's going to be the difference maker, I think, guys. If this guy, because they don't want to go to Varlamov. He did not look good in the 2 games against Pittsburgh. He lost both of them. So Sorokin's going to be a big key part to this Islanders playoff run. If he plays well, we could see a lot of unders in this series, I think, Jim.
And the Islanders defense is a tricky one to calculate because if you look at the Corsi ratings, they're terrible. But they're not terrible out on the ice. And clearly Lou Lamoriello doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an old guy. He just doesn't seem to dive in. He trusts the eye test, and the eye test is working.
I like the eye test.
Trotzy pressed all the right buttons, but I was one of the people, and I should have made a ton of money off it. Obviously, I didn't because I got scared off, but who did not think the Penguins were that good of a hockey team. They crushed me down the stretch because I was like, look, they're not that good. I don't know how they keep doing this.
Yeah, winning meaningless games down the stretch, eh?
Well, we just see it year after year after year.
Yeah.
So what I saw from the Bruins makes me think that they're going to beat the Islanders in this series.
Yeah. If that they really remind me of I don't know. They got that one heavy line, Jim, the money
Frozen.
line. But
sorry, you froze there for a sec, Gogster. Hit me with that again.
Sorry, I was just gonna say they got the money line guys with Boston, but other than that, with Richie, Hall, still a lot of question marks there. I do like what I'm seeing more from the Islanders, Jim. I think they got three lines for sure with the Palmieri and Zajac on the third line. I like their offense a lot better, but Boston's defense is no joke with those beasts and Carlo, McAvoy, Miller. So that's why I think it's going to be a lot of unders. I know they had a lot of unders during the regular season too, guys. So you could see a lot of 5s here. First period unders, no goal in the first 10 minutes. That's initially what I'm thinking in this series. But we'll break it down more Monday.
And Dennis Garcia says Boston, the better team, absolutely, but minus 240 for the series is too high. You're absolutely right. With this market, with the way the market's set up, the Islanders should probably be bet every game. But
yeah, especially say if you get Islanders win that first game, you could probably come back with Boston at minus 110. What, 120, you think? So I would definitely don't touch that minus 240, guys, because that can fluctuate a lot.
Yeah, and but Rutherford gets the last laugh with the Penguins. I was like, when he gives up on the team, I'm like, he knows he can't win big games with that hockey team.
No.
But I don't make money off of it, and I don't hammer the Islanders nonstop. And it
seemed like a desperate move too, bringing in what's his name there from Canada. Used to be on Sportsnet there. They brought him in as the manager.
Brian Burke.
Yeah, Burke. Yeah, that seemed like a bit of a push there, kind of a desperate move to make something happen. So I don't know. Just like you're saying, this Pittsburgh team's got a lot of work to do going forward.
What's your, very quickly, we got to put a bow on this. We have the big Babano show, Babano and C-Mac show coming up in a second. But what's your lean in Tampa Bay, Carolina?
Tampa Bay, Carolina. Well, Carolina, they're going up against a more experienced team here in Tampa Bay. Nashville, Vasilevsky's number one. Saros, I'd rather have Vasilevsky. Defensive wise, yeah, guys, this is going to be a tough task. You got 2 unbelievable snipers, as you guys already know, in Kucherov and Stamkos. They just beat a really good Florida team. That Florida team, guys, was really good. They probably would have beat most teams going in. They didn't have to play Tampa Bay, Jim. They would have beat Islanders, Pittsburgh. Boston would have even had a bit of a struggle too, I think. So Tampa Bay beat a really good Florida team, so I think that's only going to make them better going forward. So look out for Tampa Bay.
And yes, Ergo Kostic, the winner, if the Avalanche roll, then they'll play the winner of the Islanders Bruins no matter what.
Yeah, that's wild, eh?
This
crazy new format.
Yeah. All right, our Mr. Gogster, Belleville's finest, coming off a 5-0 plus 5.51 unit day. What's your official action for Minnesota Wild Vegas?
All right, guys. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Try to get some more cash here, guys. Wake up to some money or go to sleep to some money here. We're doing whole game over 5, minus 129, not messing around. We're hitting this one hard. And also OT, third of a unit, guys. I'm going to put a third of a unit on the OT in case we get a 1-1, 2-2 game. The OT will make up for that 1 unit, Jim. So full game over and OT in this game 7 should be a beauty, guys. Go Wild.
Now with this under 1.5 for the first period at minus 135, I'm certainly not.
I don't know.
There's no.
I lean towards the overs, but I don't want to take the over, but I don't have the balls to take the under, Jim. So,
well, I don't want it at -135. The implied
No.
probability is all out of whack. There you have it. There's our NHL breakdown. You can catch Mr. Gogster on every show here moving forward through the Stanley Cup Finals. Slatsy, much love. Chris Brady, Stan Lynch,
Cheers,
Kevin
everyone.
Riley, North Ender. Ski Profit says Storm Links over 166. Dennis Garcia, all you guys, Trot Wham, Alex Ramirez. Thank you guys for your support here at the show. And jump over right now to Babano and CMAC. Mr. Gogster, my man, coming off a gorgeous day. Can you let us out of here into the weekend?
Absolutely, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Cash some tickets. And don't forget to always leche a los bookmakers.
Get that shit.